Hey, Yotee here from the game CodeLaamaa. I love to code, and there is one piece of code that you need to know about. So let's talk about the print block. So when you're writing a computer program, talking to your users is the most important thing you will ever do. Your users need to know what's going on at all times. Otherwise, they will think that there's something wrong with your app, or worse, uninstall it. The print block is the most basic of blocks, and most important. It is used to send a message to the user from simple messages such as loading to more complex like the temperature is 55 degrees Celsius. Users get bored easily, so it's good to keep them informed with what you're doing. So how do we use the print block? Well, let's look at our mission level from CodeLaamaa and see how we can use the print block and a few more text blocks to print messages to the screen. Alright, so we're just loading here the mission level. We have Monkey there ready to take commands from our code window at the side. So let's start by printing out Hello World. So we'll click on I/O. We'll click on the print block. Now I/O stands for input output. Let's change that default text ABC to the words Hello World. So we're just going to click on the ABC area and type in Hello World. And we'll click OK. Now let's hit Run Code and see what happens. And let's wait for the bubbles to disappear. Then we'll try something else. Let's throw that block into the garbage can and try again. So we click on I/O. Select our print ABC block again, and let's bring in the create text with block. So we're going to join pieces of text together. This is a useful block because we can actually join pieces of text or other items such as variables, which we'll get into in the next lesson, or numbers as well. But what we'll do is we'll start by putting create text with, having ABC, and let's add a second text block by clicking on text and dragging in the empty text block there. So let's start by changing ABC to the word hello. And we'll change that empty block to be the word world. We'll hit OK, and let's hit Run Code. And you can see Hello World is there. But you notice there's no space between hello and world. So it gets you thinking maybe you should put spaces in yourself sometimes, because the computer doesn't understand where you want spaces to go between words. Alright, let's change it to I am 5 years old. So the first text block will say I am, and the second text block will say 5 years old. Now we'll hit Run Code. And you see I am 5 years old. But notice there's no space between am and 5. We didn't put one in. We have to put in a space ourselves to really fix that. Let's do this. Let's take create text with, and let's add 3 components to it. So if you click on the blue little button that's inside of it, this little menu pops up, and you just drag the block item into the join block there to have 3 of them. And so now you actually have the option for 3 items in your create text with block. So you can join 3 items. So what we're going to do is we're going to say I am 5 years old, but we're going to remove the number 5 from years old. And we're going to bring in a number block. So if you go to math, as you're seeing here on the screen, you go to math, and there's a little empty number block there. It has 0 on it. And we'll drag that in. And we'll change that 0 to a 5 by clicking on 0, typing in 5, hitting OK and done, and there you go. Now you're actually going to see I am 5 years old when we hit Run Code. Now again, you'll notice the spacing is off again. We didn't put any spaces around. So you're seeing I am 5 years old with no spaces. Alright, so you're seeing here the create text with block is very useful for doing a lot of things here. Now, let's put in a couple of useful messages that you might find beneficial in your games and your apps that you're building. So we'll just go back to that single block and just put the word loading. Let's put a little loading indicator in. So we'll put loading with a few dots, hit done, hit OK, and hit run code. There's loading. And finally, let's put in mission complete. And hit run code. And there you have it. That's the print block. In our next video, we will use numbers and something called variables to print more information to the user, so stay tuned. So you see, it's not hard to talk to your user. Now, if you haven't done so already, head over to www.CodeLaamaa.com and download CodeLaamaa for your iPad or Android and give it a try yourself. You won't regret it. It's a game that takes place on Earth 5. It's in the not-so-distant future. Humans have abandoned the Earth because it's become unlivable, and it's up to the animal kingdom to restore it. It can only be restored through the power of code. So you need to learn to code to save it. I know you're up to the challenge. So what are you waiting for? See you soon.